We're here today with JC Anderson and sister Denver Anderson. So JC, you as a sophomore and your sister as a senior, what's it like having a sister who's just as athletic as you, but you guys team up so well together, brother-sister duo?
It was awesome growing up together. It wasn't a huge age gap, and we knew we were going to be in high school together. So growing up, we were really close. We're always in the driveway together, and we're like I said, we're close enough in age to where we compete with where we could compete with each other pretty good, and make each other hustle and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty special seeing her do big things and all that.
Yeah, it wasn't always good sometimes. I mean, obviously when you're like super close in age and everything, growing up when you're little kids, like you can ask like my parents, we would like full on like punch each other, like big fights. But I mean, we grew out of it, of course, and it's just made us closer now. Good stories to tell. So, but yeah, those driveway games got very competitive, and at the time I would always win. Not now, but it was fun.
But I mean, looking back at it now, it definitely helped me grow a lot, and it definitely humbled me a lot to where I know I could. I still got a lot to grow. I still got a lot to do and stuff, just as a kid. But yeah, it definitely. In the time, it was definitely rough. It was rough. Luckily, they weren't around. It was just me, her, and my dad. My dad gave me crap though.
So JC, as far as memorable or funniest moments you two have had together, what would that be?
There was this one time. It was me and her playing around in the backyard at my aunt's house that lives in Sullivan, and she jumped over this one bush. It was a pretty big bush, and she was obviously older than me and more athletic than me. And she's like, "You have to jump over that bush. I triple dog dare you to jump over that bush and stuff." And I did, and I completely snapped my collarbone. And I don't know if that's like. It's a pretty funny moment that we've had. It just shows that we're pretty competitive with each other, and we always push each other and stuff. And
he always brings it up, and he's like, "It's your fault." I was like, "That's just a you problem."
Now it's a challenge. You guys kind of work well together, but also, what is the biggest challenge that you guys are both talented, so you guys kind of have high expectations for each other?
I think. Me and her growing up, we'd be with my dad in the driveway, and he'd always take us to the gym and stuff. And we know, especially with my mom, comes high expectations. She was obviously a stud hooper back in the day. Same with my dad in Mount Zion. So I mean, I think there was always kind of been like in the back of our heads, just like an expectation to be great, you know. And I think, especially growing up with each other in the gym and everything, I think that definitely helped us. Our motivation and everything.
I'd say also like us both playing different positions pretty much. He plays like a pure center for the most part, or a 4, and I'd say I'm a 3 or 4, like a guard, stretch forward. So I mean, he's able to give me pointers whenever I'm doing post work, but I mean, I can also help him like with better shots to take, like more guard work. So it's like you get the best of both worlds with us. Like we're able to give each other advice and just keep helping each other grow. And we're like, you can never be the best. Like you have to keep going. You can always be better.
Obviously, you come from a family of great athletes. Do mom and dad have any basic rules of like competition or just in life in general?
For basketball, my mom just always tells me get every rebound. No guard should ever get a rebound over you.
I'd say like my parents, we've always grown up learning to be humble no matter what, and like we learned that we should not put ourselves out in any sort of inappropriate ways. We need to like watching what we're doing, of course, like just being true to ourselves, true to our family, and I need to be representing our school and our family all the time. So we've always learned to be humble and respectful of everyone.
Denver, what is one thing that JC does that just annoys the heck out of you?
Well, I mean, obviously we kind of like mess around sometimes, but he's like, he'll do something and he knows that I will like get him back worse than what he did to me. So it's just like an ongoing cycle. He'll like slap me in the face or something, and I'll come and punch him in the stomach, and then he'll come and do it again. And I'm like, if you're gonna keep doing it, I'm gonna keep coming back and doing it again. So it's just like an ongoing cycle. But it's kind of funny though. It's just like messing around. It's not serious or anything.
I can think of one thing. When we used to play one-on-one when I was pretty little, I would always, she was bigger than me back then, so I would always be fading away and stuff. And I remember her telling me, like, don't ever fade away or be scared of who you're going against. Just always go up into them and just, like, never back down.
Who had a better game? Like, let's say JC drops 22, you had 20. Does he come in the car after and say, yeah, I think I had a better game than you did?
I don't think that's ever, like, we'll text, or our parents will text in the family group chat our stats and stuff, but we'll never like talk to each other like, oh, I had more points than you tonight. That's just never came across like our minds.
I don't think so.
How important it is that you guys have the athleticism that not everybody has, especially in a family.
Well, I mean, in the family, like, we're just able, whenever we're playing like pickup games, like, I think it's great that I can like come play with the guys and be able to compete and like show like what I can do too. Just because you're like a girl doesn't mean that you can't play with the guys or anything like that. So that's always like fun, and I think that's kind of showing our athletic ability too. And then as far as like going to the next level, I'm like obviously very grateful that I've been given the opportunity to have a full scholarship. And it's something that I can be grateful for every day. And I know it's hard work, my athletic ability and talent, of course, that's taken me there. And I'm very grateful for that, and I know that he will be too when that time comes for him.
Growing up, I mean, it was obviously our athletic ability. It was a lot of hard work, but it was also a lot of God-gifted abilities. And I'll forever be grateful. It's a blessing, A lot of it was earned, and then, like I said, a lot of it was genetics and God gifted in it. I mean, it obviously allowed her to get a full scholarship, and I'm working to a full scholarship. And yeah, I mean, I'll just forever be grateful.
Your mom's usually the loudest one cheering, at least at games that I've been to. Can you just describe what it's like having her in the stands rooting you on every night?
Before every game, she has me take her little bleacher seat and put it in like the dead center. She's like, I have to save my spot. And just knowing that she's already always there cheering us on, it's it's definitely a little motivation. Every time I miss a layup or something, I know she's watching, so I'll make sure I'll get another rebound, and I'll make a basket the next possession or whatever. Yeah, just knowing she's there, it's definitely always a motivation booster.
One thing about her is she's not afraid to be loud. So, I mean, of course it's motivating, and it's like all love from her. It can be annoying sometimes, I won't lie. If it's like game's not going very well, you can just hear her louder than anyone else, louder than your coach or even your teammates sometimes. But you just hear like right here, like, Mom, stop. But I know that it's just her trying to get me to work hard and get us to do better. But she'll always be our #1 fan and always be supporting us. So
Knowing that you guys have such a close-knit relationship, that you're in this gym and there's nothing like Braves territory in here, and you guys support each other no matter what.
Yeah. Growing up, I remember watching Jonas Smith's team play on this gym, and it's definitely a special gym for sure. My dad played on the same exact court, the same exact bleachers, and especially with Denver, knowing that we both could give our team, both of our teams, our all out effort and stuff, and it's definitely special. And I'm grateful to have such a great community that comes to all the games and stuff. And yeah, Braves, like you said, Braves territory is like no other.
I'd say playing with my brother is like, I was in 8th grade when my older sister was a senior, so I never really got the chance to play with her, and I really wish that I had. I know he's on the men's team, I'm on the women's, but it's just like we'll have a game on the same night, and it's like I just feel like it's like a strong bond and like duo that we have. Like I'll go to his games, he'll come to mine, and I mean we're both starting on the varsity teams, so it's kind of just like a fun thing that we have, and I'm definitely gonna miss that for sure.
Big time players at this school. Also, both of you talking to countless colleges. I mean, that's not the usual for a lot of families, but you guys are both getting that kind of attention. How do you both handle that?
Well, I mean, growing up, I was always kind of told that me and Denver would both be studs, and I don't know. We also kind of talked to each other about it. She just recently she shot me a text telling me when I was on a visit to Tennessee. She said like to enjoy the recruiting process because she had to go through the recruiting process too, but like before me. So she said to enjoy every second of it because there's nothing like it.
Whenever I texted him that, I was just thinking like, of course, whenever you have really supportive parents too that take you like everywhere, sometimes like obviously as like a teenager, like you're in high school, it can be like kind of exhausting, kind of might get a little tired of it a little bit, and it's just like this next day you're going somewhere else, which is, I'm not trying to complain at all because obviously that's a great thing, but sometimes, I mean, when you're a teenager it can wear down on you a little bit, missing your friends and everything. So it's just like you got to take these moments in, realize that that's not going to be forever. You'll have plenty of time, and just these moments, they go by very fast.
When you first got recruited as a junior, kind of as a sophomore, how much has it changed since you are now to where you committed, to where you were like, all right, well, where am I going to go? And maybe you can give us some advice to JC as well whenever that comes time too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have different phone calls set up in a day, and I was kind of nervous to talk at first. I didn't really know what I would talk about. Seeing all these different colleges, like some of them were kind of similar too. Like the coaches were great, school was great, campus was great, and it really is just like, it's so many factors worked into it. You kind of just have to be like, okay, what do I like about this? What do I not like about this? You kind of have like your checklist of what you want from each school, and then honestly for me, when you find that place that feels right, you just know that it's right, and you know that's where you want to be. So after like all those visits, I'd be like, oh, this is great, and then we go next and be like, oh, that was great too. Like, how will you ever make the decision? But like when it all comes down to it, I guess it's kind of just like when you know, you know. It's kind of how it was for me.
Kind of relaying off of that, does it feel weird to be so far from home whenever you do go there?
Well, it's kind of always been my dream. I mean, I honestly don't know why. I've just been like, that's where I want to go. I want to like go out in that direction. And my mom, she always pushed me towards it. She was like, yes, I want you to go there too. And I knew she wanted that for like us, for me, for the whole family, and she knew that that's where I'd thrive the most. So it was kind of just like, it wasn't on a whim at all. It's something I've always wanted and my family's always wanted for me. So it was great whenever the opportunity came, and I mean, it just feels right, and I'm excited. I'll be very far away on my own, but it's going to be a great experience.
Going off to college, are you going to be a little, emotional knowing that she won't be in those stands every game? You're obviously going to be proud watching her from afar, but is it going to hurt a little bit not having her in those stands?
Yeah, for sure. There's going to be a little piece gone. I think us here together, even whenever we don't realize it, I think we've pushed each other to do better in both of our sports. But yeah, there's definitely going to be a piece missing. But knowing that she's doing her thing at Southern Utah, I know there's going to be. I'll be okay with that, obviously.
Denver, you're going to be watching a lot of Braves TV when he's playing, isn't he?
Oh yeah, of course. And I mean, I'll try to be home as much as I can, and it's not even like just with sports. We've just been so close since we were little. We've always had that kind of bond, and it's kind of like a built-in best friend, and you're going 24 hours away from like one of your best friends. And especially like now that we're in high school together, we're in like the same friend group too. Like, we're there for each other, like to talk about anything. We hang out together. Like, he's like my best friend and my brother too. So it's definitely going to be very sad. I mean, there's like sort of things that we always are kind of just like always trying to learn. it's just things we always talk about. Like in that game, at the Springfield game, I was like telling him like call for the ball. Like he's in the whole game, he's getting tired, of course, but I'm like call for the ball. Like they can't stop you. I'm like saying that the whole entire time, but it's just like it's more like motivationally, like trying to help each other out. It's like don't fade away, go into the contact. Doesn't matter who it is. Like you shouldn't be scared of anyone. I mean, it was like I was obviously very happy for him. I mean, I was cheering for him the whole game, trying to give him like pointers. Also, I'm like screaming like, "Post up, demand the ball!" But obviously, you can't really hear me. Just listen to myself talk. But it was a great moment. Great seeing him having fun and being able to be right there in the front, like cheering him on. Like, there's never gonna be like a jealous moment between us. It's just always support and love between us, and just support and watching each other grow and do well in what we do.
And so does the sibling rivalry, is that tossed aside at this point in your lives?
Yeah, we've definitely outgrown that. Now, I mean, you'll always see us supporting each other and like complimenting each other, wanting each other to do the best that we can. And I mean, I hope that I've just set like a standard sort of, and I hope with every bone in my body that he passes everything that I've done, because I would love that for him.
Aim for the triple. Mount Zion only trailing by 3 at the half. And to the fourth we go, where the deficit is down 2. J.C. Anderson steals the inbound, gets it and hits and buries the and one. And he celebrates with his sister Denver in the student section. Mount Zion regains the lead. Centralia looking to go for the go-ahead bucket with 20 seconds, but Anderson says no soup for you. One last chance for Centralia, but it's no good, and the Braves survive as their Final Four bound for the first time in program history.
They just don't give up. They got a determination and a grit and a toughness to them that you got to have in these types of situations. They've shown it every time we've needed it, and they came through again tonight.
You know, it definitely helps a lot when you have a great community behind our back, coming to every game, supporting us in every game. So it's definitely special. We got a special community, we got a special group.
Mount Zion down by 3 as they head into the locker room. Second half, same action from Anderson. Floats one in the lane for the buckets. And after trailing for 21 minutes, Anderson gets the and one to go and goes right over to big sister Denver, the Southern Utah signee. That ties it up. The free throw gives them the lead, and that is how it stayed. Braves win 47-46. They are going to state for the first time in school history.
They worked their tails off. They gritted it out. They made plays when they had to. It wasn't pretty at the end, but we got the job done.
Our teammate Grant McAfee got the first steal, sparked the run, and we made some free throws. Got us back in the game.
As far as the biggest role model you guys do have together, who would that be, and why would that be? Because I mean, you guys are such close brother and sister, but also you got to have people to look up to as well.
I would definitely say, I could probably speak for her too, it'd be Shoni, our little sister. We watched her go through a really rough time, and as someone her size and her age, she whipped leukemia's butt, and I mean, if she could do stuff like that, I mean, I think we know that we can too, and she's such a strong little girl, and I think she's definitely someone that we've looked up to.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, pretty spot on, but yeah, I mean, it's not really, like in my mind, it doesn't have to be someone older than you or even remotely close to the same age as you. Like, you see someone going through that type of battle and being strong, you know that if they're that young, then it shouldn't be that hard. But I mean, of course it is hard, especially with like leukemia for her. If she can deal with that, then we can deal with anything too.
I mean, it was obviously really rough, but we were there for her, and I always knew that I always knew Shani was gonna break through, but it was definitely a really dark time. Her at the hospital with my mom, like for a week straight at times, without being able to see them. It was during COVID too, so we couldn't even go to the hospital and see them sometimes. We would just have to wave at them when they're way up in the window and we're way down on the street. It was really rough seeing my little sister go through that. But yeah, I mean, it definitely pushes us. Me and her, I could definitely speak for her, to push more weight in the weight room and go harder just in everything that we do.
Kind of relaying off of that, you guys have faced a lot of adversity with the family, with Shoni's thing. How do you feel like that adversity has maybe helped you guys out mentally to be stronger as well as a family?
I mean, whenever we see what she's gone through, and I mean, even like our family, ourselves, like we've been through a lot of mental battles, like just being away from our family so much, and kind of like the heartache that brings you seeing like your little sister go through something like that, and also coming together as a family and rallying together to be there for her. And we're still like young, and that's like, it's a pretty hard thing to go through for her and for our whole family too, for sure. So it's just made us stronger. It's made our family closer and made us tougher all together.
Family. What does that word mean to you guys, family?
To me, it means a lot. You know, like just family, just like unconditional love, always look out for each other, and loyalty, you know, like it's just like everyone here has each other's backs, you know, like and it's just loyalty, like you're gonna be loyal to your family and to your program and to your coaches and to your friends and stuff. It's a huge thing for me personally.
So kind of really laying off of that, as far as the family wise, you embrace each other, number one, but also you look after other people who aren't your family, and you look after your best friends, and they recognize that. What is that big thing you want people to realize and embrace you guys as Anderson family? No matter who you guys are and what you do, you're always going to remember by this.
I'd say definitely like our hard work and our passion for everything that we do, and like you said, our loyalty to everyone will always be there. I hope that everyone would think that we'd always be there for anyone, and just like good people in general who are like helpful and kind and humble, and yeah, just all those things.
Denver, you're 6 foot. JC, you're 6'7", and you're just a sophomore. So does that give you a little jealousy, Denver, to push harder, to maybe get taller, or how does that work in the family?
I mean, I had my time. I think I had my glory days when I was younger, whenever I was taller and stronger, and he was just like a little clumsy, unathletic kid tripping over his feet because he wasn't grown into them yet. So that's kind of like, I noticed that, and I kind of took over for a little bit. But I mean, he can have like the rest of our lives, I guess.
Yeah, she definitely took advantage of my unathletics and clumsiness when I was younger.
Basketball, or football. Do you remember the first time that you ever played sport?
I was in like first grade, I think, when I played at Upward. It was like an Upward program at a church. I don't remember it. I just remember my mom told me a story of how she saw me playing, and I was super, super aggressive, like on defense. I'd go up to like all the other little girls and I'd like slap the balls out of their hand, or slap the ball out of their hands, and like just, I was very aggressive. And she was like talking to the director, she's like, I'm sorry about her. And he's like, she told me this, she said that he told her, don't ever take that away from her, because not a lot of people have that.
I think the first time I played basketball or picked up a basketball, I think it was first or second grade. I don't remember. I mean, obviously don't remember much, but I don't think I had the mentality that she had when she was in first or second grade. I remember my dad telling me that I spent more time on the floor than I did standing up.
But as a family, you guys are officiating games on Sundays. Was that different as an aspect of not a player but actually calling the game?
I think a big part of officiating games on Sundays is I get to officiate the young Braves too in 4th and 5th and 6th grade or whatever, and I get to teach them to be tough and stuff. Because whenever I officiate them, I make sure not to call any weak fouls. I make sure to let them play through it, and I know that me and Denver have wrapped a couple games together. I know that the kids look up to us and stuff, so I make sure to just be a good role model for them and everything.
I'd say like pretty much the same thing, just trying to help them get better while also repping the games. And it's a different point of view for the game from like reffing it versus playing it. And I think what helped me begin reffing was my IQ for the game, but reffing has also kind of helped my IQ for the game grow. Just like 2 different point of views, 2 different parts of the game, and I mean, it was a great opportunity to be able to have that and work through that.
Tapes of your parents when they were, playing sports? Have they shown you anything, and
Yeah.
how's that kind of helped you grow into players that you are today?
They didn't really show me, but I looked up on my own. We watched it with the family. My mom's a state championship game, and when she was in high school, and she was also playing. She was playing against a girl that was actually an inch or 2 taller than her. And I mean, definitely when I was younger, watching her battle it out with her, it was definitely something special, because I never really got to watch my dad, but yeah, that was the only game I've watched my mom play, and it's definitely something special because you could see the hard work and the grit that she had in all of her games and whatnot.
For me, it's definitely just super interesting to watch, like how everything was when she played. In my opinion, I mean, she's my height, we're the same height, but whenever I watch her play, I see a lot of him too. They're like a very similar player, like in the post and everything, but pretty quick. So, I mean, I kind of just got to see like how she's put her talents and her work helping him grow and be a better player.
Like Denver said earlier, we would just feed off each other, like whenever we're playing one-on-one, I would take her down the post, and I would toughen her up, I guess. Even when she was bigger than me, I would toughen her up in that aspect. And when she had the ball, she would take me out on the perimeter and get me better at my foot speed and everything. And that definitely shows in the varsity games. Like, she's obviously a much more guard type player, and I'm much more of a post player. So I mean, growing up, we definitely helped each other in our games.
At Mount Zion Sports a few years ago, maybe wasn't in the greatest place. Do you guys feel like this family and you two have kind of helped put Mount Zion back on the map in terms of athletics?
Yeah. One thing I've always wanted to say is when I was a freshman or in 8th grade, I would go to the games, and there wasn't that big of a crowd, and I would always watch some tape of Jonah's team back in 2016 or the Sams back in 2001, and I would see they'd have the bleachers over there, and every single seat in the gym would be filled. And I've always said, like, we're just as talented as those teams. Like, why can't we get those type of fans? And when we started winning games, and when we made a good little postseason run, and you could see more and more of the community start to come to more and more of the games, I would just hope that it sets a standard for Mount Zion sports to the community to come to more games, not only just like in the postseason run, but more games in the future, and just show more support.
Also for myself, I'd say, like, growing up, I was super excited to play in high school. I had like a ton of goals for myself and everything about like all Apollo Conference and everything like that. So just like us two playing together, playing for this team, I mean, yes, I would say that we both helped make the program better. I definitely don't think it was just us, but I do think we've given good input to the teams and just gotten better all around ourselves too.
I know that in the super sectional against Centralia, when we were down 7 with 2 minutes left, I know that we could not have made that comeback without our fan base and without our student section. I know, I said this in an interview after the game. When we're down 7, I looked into the stands and I saw all the disappointed faces because everyone thought that we were going to lose. And the crowd picked us up coming out of that timeout. They didn't give up, and so I was like, why should we? You know. So I think having such a great fan base. It's such a factor that people don't get. Like, especially for me, whenever I run out of the locker room and I see a big crowd, I have the most motivation in the world to put on a show.
Yeah, I definitely say, like, the fans being there and just, like, those big crowds just, like, get you motivated in a different type of way. Like, whenever they're there for you, you know that you can show up for them too. And we're very thankful for everything that this community has done for us. And I know I'm done playing here on this court, but there's been a lot of good times, a lot of great memories, just like watching and playing. And I'm very thankful for the program and the whole community in the school. Like, I wouldn't be who I am unless I grew up here. And it was an amazing experience, and I'll always be thankful for it.
J.C. Anderson, Denver Anderson, the brother-sister duo. Special feature story. Guys, Anderson clan, thank you so much for talking to us. We appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having us.